Welcome to Mind Mosaic. Today, we're peeling back the layers of everyday life to reveal how modern society subtly shapes, and sometimes even controls, the way we think. We're going to explore how social structures, media, and technology influence our beliefs, behaviors, and choices, often without us even realizing it. Let's start with media. From the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, we're exposed to a relentless stream of information. Philosopher Noam Chomsky describes this as the manufacture of consent. Chomsky argues that media in modern society isn't necessarily about delivering truth but about shaping public opinion to serve certain interests, often political or economic. Consumerism plays into this as well. When you see ads encouraging you to buy, whether it's a new phone, clothes, or even a lifestyle, it creates a sense of need. But this need often isn't genuine, it's planted. French sociologist Jean Baudrillard warned us about a concept he called hyperreality, where simulations or images start to replace actual reality. In essence, we're sometimes not buying products because they're useful but because they give us an identity we've seen on a screen. Social media, though intended to connect, often achieves the opposite effect. We're being conditioned to think in terms of likes and followers, which act as a form of social validation. Jaron Lanier, a computer scientist and author, explains that social media platforms exploit our psychological triggers to keep us hooked. Lanier calls this behavior modification, a process by which we are trained to seek external approval and validation. When we scroll through perfectly curated lives online, we start comparing ourselves to those images. And as psychologist Eric Fromm noted, this comparison can breed envy and dissatisfaction. We're often left feeling that we're falling short, pushing us to buy more, show more, and strive for a version of reality that isn't real. Now let's talk about education. Education is supposed to empower critical thinking. But, as John Taylor Gatto, an educational reformer, argued, the traditional school system often does the opposite. Gatto suggested that institutionalized education encourages obedience and conformity rather than creativity or critical thought. Think about it, students are taught to follow specific rules, prepare for tests, and think within structured frameworks. This approach can stifle creativity and condition people to accept authority without question, which is a form of subtle control. Another tool of modern brainwashing is fear. Political philosopher Michel Foucault spoke about discipline and punishment as a means of social control. In many cases, fear is used to keep populations in line. Think of the constant barrage of negative news, natural disasters, economic downturns, and social unrest. When we're afraid, we're less likely to question authority and more likely to accept restrictions on our freedom in exchange for security. So how do we protect ourselves from this societal conditioning? Here are some strategies. Practice mindfulness. One way to reclaim your mind is through mindfulness. Take time each day to step back from the constant flow of information. Alan Watts, a philosopher, emphasized the importance of self-awareness and living in the present moment. When we practice mindfulness, we're less likely to be swept away by societal pressures. Limit media consumption. Reducing the amount of media you consume can lessen its influence on you. Try going on media fasts, where you consciously step back from screens and social media. Philosopher Marshall McLuhan warned that the medium is the message, meaning the medium through which we receive information changes how we process it. Foster critical thinking. Challenge yourself to question what you hear, even from trusted sources. Socrates believed that critical thinking was essential for a free and just society. When we ask questions and consider alternative perspectives, we gain the power to see beyond manipulation. Connect with nature. Stepping outside the urban and digital environments helps us reset. Studies show that spending time in nature reduces stress and improves well-being. By reconnecting with nature, we can strip away the layers of external influence and rediscover who we are, beyond societal expectations. Modern society is complex, and with all its benefits, it also has its pitfalls. Brainwashing might not always look like mind control in a science fiction movie. Sometimes, it's subtle, masked by familiar comforts and routines. The good news is that with awareness, we can reclaim our minds. We can choose to live consciously, deciding for ourselves what to believe and who we want to be.